Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 42. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm your host, Todd Oxtra, joined by my co-host extraordinaire, the Canardian, Mark Harriman. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm very good. I'm excited to be back talking about some video games. How are you?
Good. You know, it seems like it's been longer than normal that we've actually recorded an episode together. Last episode we did together was the Xbox event. We had a gap there. You had took some time off, which well deserved. You know, you got a baby, they add on 10 years to your life. And then I released the roundtable with the Last of Us Part 2 with some great guys. It was really fun to do that, and I'm glad we could do it. And eventually, Mark, unless you don't care about being spoiled, obviously give it a listen. But if you are going to play, hold it in your back pocket. But I hope folks gave it a listen. Even my one friend who doesn't play those games listened to it, and he actually enjoyed it a lot.
So I did actually add it to my listening queue.
Okay.
I did fall a little bit behind while I was on vacation. I didn't listen to as many podcasts as I hoped to and caught up to everything. So I'm a little behind. So I have a big queue kind of ready to go. And I did add it tentatively on there. And I'm going to listen to a bit because generally I don't mind spoilers for most things. And The Last of Us, take away my gamer card or whatever, but it's not a property that I really care about. I can appreciate it for what it is, but as far as I'm not going to say it's my favorite franchise or favorite game or anything like that. So honestly, at this point, I don't know if and when I'll play the sequel. So I want to give this a listen because I love the crew that you got on there, and I kind of want to hear a little bit about it because honestly, for this game, spoilers might help either entice me or solidify that I don't want to play it. So I'm planning on listening to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think I will give everyone credit for bringing something forward, and it's funny. We didn't actually talk about the gameplay until like the last 10 minutes, which is funny because we are so engrossed in everything else. But at least at the beginning, you can listen spoiler free, just our relationship with the franchise as a whole. So at least gives you a tenor of how we're going to discuss and move forward. So, but enough about that. It's there if you want it. And hopefully we will do more of these in the future. Mark, if you have one in mind that you would like to do where you want to go deeper on a game, maybe a game when you and I finally align on where we're going to play Hellblade. That would be something I think we could do there as well. So I think doing one-offs, deeper dives, or even if you just want to do, go deep on a game when, we don't have a ton of time to do that because we kind of just touch on it. Kind of like what we're going to do now with Press Start to Play. So, Mark, you've been playing some games, same game as my son has been playing.
Yeah, Grounded. I'm guessing that's the one Logan's been messing with a little bit. Yeah, so Grounded launched in early access on Xbox Game Pass. So this is not the full game, but it will give you a taste of what's to come, I suppose. So I messed with this game for a little bit. I wasn't 100% sure what to expect, but I loved the Honey, I Shrunk the Fortnite look and aesthetic of this. And when I say that, most people are like, "Oh, Fortnite's crap," or they're saying like, "What? This isn't a battle royale." What I'm referring to is Save the World mode, where you do build up a base. And that's kind of how Fortnite was first pitched, is you build up this base and you're defending it and you're doing all this stuff against the zombie horde that's coming in through the storm. So that is the Fortnite I'm referring to here. So Honey, I Shrunk the Fortnite, that is kind of the crux of this game. And I love how you just... Without spoiling too much, but you just get dropped into this world. You pick one of the characters that they give you, and I think the characters actually do kind of react a little differently because I've been hearing some other people say, "Oh, I picked this character and she's reacting like this, and I picked this and whatever." So it's really cool to just be dropped in this and have to kind of figure it out along with your character of, how did I get here? Where am I? What's going on? Is this a dream? What do I do now? And figure things out as they go, and find different objects and different bad guys. And the spiders are freaking terrifying. This is really cool. I can't wait to see the full game, and I can't wait to to play more of this one. So yeah, definitely. If you haven't checked out Grounded, if you have Game Pass, check it out. It's cool.
When does it leave early access?
I don't know.
Because I know the story portion of it is very limited at first. It's kind of like, here's a mission, here's a story, and there'll be more to come back and play. So that's where I want to go for it, because I'm really story driven versus I wouldn't get caught up in like the base building and things like that. But once they do really bring out the story mode, I will definitely give it a try. It looks ridiculously cute. It looks good though, not like, goofy. And yeah, my son Logan's like, oh my god, ants are horrible, and ladybugs have a billion, you can ride on them, which is fun. So he enjoyed it quite a bit too.
So one thing I will say, I learned the hard way, is when you're in a pause menu, the game doesn't pause.
Oh really?
Yeah,
it's fully like online shared world.
Yep. So yeah, I was trying to figure out how to do something and how to craft something. Actually, I went into this like dark tunnel, and I had to try to. It was like, hey, if you craft a torch, you can see in the dark. So I was like, I'll craft a torch, because at that point I had been able to craft a few things. I made a few weapons. I made a little tent lean kind of thing. And so I just, anything else that I had crafted, I was not near enemies when I crafted things. And in slightly my defense, I didn't think I was near an enemy when I went in to try to craft the torch. And then I got a little distracted by, I forget if it was my wife or the baby, or someone was doing something, and I kind of looked away, but I was like, I'm in a pause menu. I'm just going to craft something. And then all of a sudden it was, you have died. You'll restart. And it was like, oh, well,
thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So I did have to put the game down for a second there, because it was just like one of those, like, just tell me that, like I appreciate being able to go through the world and discover things as you go, and the tutorial is actually playing the game. I enjoy that aspect of this game, but when it's something that gets you killed like that, it's like, just tell me, because that's going to frustrate me. Luckily, I had saved fairly close to where I died, so it wasn't a massive loss or anything. But really, because you save kind of when you sleep, and you can only kind of sleep, at certain points. So if it had have messed up or restarted me, it was at the very end of the day and I lost all my progress, I probably wouldn't pick this game back up. But luckily, I didn't lose too much. So it was just kind of like, turn it off, go back to my little zenness and get rid of the rage, and then let's pick it back up and go again. So, but yeah, definitely try out Grounded, and just remember that crafting does not pause the game.
Nice. Oh, that's like, don't want to give a spoiler, but the same thing happens in Last of Us Part 2. Didn't realize it, because you don't expect in that type of game. So just if you do play it, be prepared, because everybody talks about that like, yeah, crap. So, oh well. Game I've been playing, I just got done playing it before we were on. Paper Mario Origami King. Logan has been playing this game, so he said, hey, Daddy, you going to try it? I'm like, sure, I'll give it a try. I want to experience it. I really haven't had much to play personally on Switch this year. So I'm like, you know what? This might be my jam. We'll give it a try. This game is uber charming, super cute, very witty, and very well written. I mean, they just use puns like you wouldn't believe it. It's a dad joke, extravaganza. So enjoy that. So it's full of that. The game is beautiful. I love all of the paper aesthetic. They have this one big enemy who looks like kind of they call him something else, but it's basically a paper mache. It's almost like you think of how you make a paper mache, like you've probably done it before. You take a balloon and put the paper mache on. It has that type of look to it, and it's kind of falling apart. So I like how they did that as well. And they just there's hidden things all over the world. It's very fun, but I mean, basically, it's a fresh take on the Paper Mario saga. This is all about our origami. You've got this origami king who basically transforms all of the denizens of the Mushroom Kingdom in almost like these zombie characters that are look like they've been folded. So that's a big part of it. So you have to find a myriad of toads. And then as you battle, you basically it's this weird turn-based, ring-based combat system. I've heard the bosses are different and more engaging, but at least for this, anytime you encounter the enemies, it's turn-based, but the enemies are on a wheel and they have 4 segments, and you essentially have to line up the enemies. If you do it perfectly, it says you did it perfectly. You get 1.5 times the damage when you inflict them upon the enemies. Currently, I have boots, so jumping on people, or I have a hammer. So boots are good when you have enemies lined up in a row and you can time your jumps to do more damage. Typically, you kill them all with one hit. So you don't have to worry about them coming back and surviving. Sometimes they don't, though. So that's something I was surprised. And then the hammer is area effect. So you get 2 side by side. Do it. Then you can turn. So if the enemies are out of sequence, you line them up. So you try to get them. So basically you get one where you just turn the dial sideways. You line them up. You can attack. If you don't get them perfect, then essentially that gives the enemies essentially more time to attack you back. What I didn't realize, it's timed. So you have 30 seconds to make all your moves. But I also didn't realize you were limited in turns. So you get 30 seconds and only 2 sets. And I keep screwing it up because I'm like, am I set? Nope, crap, I only have 2 turns. So you do have to get it right. So I don't mind either or. I don't like both. You know? Right. Because it hurries you. And I don't know if that's the whole thing to make it more difficult, but I don't like that. I'd rather have it timed and do as many moves as you want, or no timer and take as long as you want, but you have 4 turns.
Are there difficulty settings at all? Or is that just the game kind of thing?
I think that's how I don't know. I'd have to look, but that's what's screwing me up right now. And you do get power-ups. I don't think you can use like healing power-ups within the match. So essentially you could die, which I did die in my last game, and I just gave up at that point. But that's where it does get difficulty. There's phases or waves, whatever you call it. So it's not always just one round. It could be multiple rounds in a given event. So, and I died because there were those spiky Koopas or whatever they are. They have spikes on their backs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can't jump on them.
Spikies.
So I've got to figure out how to kill them. So unless it's just all hammer, then I'll be limited. Yeah. So, yeah. So, and I'm assuming I will get more basically items to attack them. I also get I also have a fire flower in my inventory. I just don't know when I can use it. So
cool.
Yeah. And as you find toads across the world, you can add them and they watch you in an audience. And if you pay them, they will come out and help you. They'll basically like throw an attack or something. So, and you're finding toads, and eventually you'll have a full audience when you find all the toads. But yeah, I mean, it's very charming, but the battle, especially the battle, all you win is coins and maybe some power-ups. There's no experience, so there's really no RPG elements to this. So in a way, the battles aren't engaging me, and without experience, I don't know. I'm going to have a hard time to stay with this game. I do want to see what the boss battles are like and see if that makes it more engaging. But as of right now, I don't feel a motivation to battle. And that to me is a challenge because money is going to be used for something. But at this point, I don't know what. But that's so I can see why it got the scores that it did. It got like 7s, 7.5s, which means it's cute. It might be for you. It might not be for everybody. And at this point, I'm saying, unless something changes, it will be definitely a game I'll put to the side.
Right. That's kind of why I haven't picked it up yet. Because, like I said, I was going to pick this game up based on reviews from gamers whose opinions I usually align with. And so far, those opinions have been like, yeah, it's good. You know, if this game goes on sale, and Nintendo is notoriously bad for not putting their games on sale, but if this one eventually goes on sale, I might pick it up, but right now I'm not in a rush. Instead, I've been revisiting old games, but yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. I just want to make sure you're. That's all. Is that all you have with Paper Mario?
Yeah, I would say wait till Christmas. Maybe it'll be a good Christmas gift for someone to get you.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Yeah. So like I said, I've been going back to some older games, and Splatoon 2 was one that I revisited while I was on vacation. I don't even really know why. I think it was they're doing some Splatfest stuff. I had been playing Smash Brothers a few weeks ago when Min Min came back out, and I started messing with some of the characters that I felt like I hadn't played with enough, and the Inkling was one of them. I was also watching some videos on octopuses, like in real life videos on octopuses, because they're super weird creatures and I love them. And that made me appreciate the Octolings. And then I read a thing about the Octolings and how they were supposed to be a bigger part of the second game at first, and then they kind of scrapped that at the last minute and saved them for the DLC. And since I'm rambling, I'm going to get back and say, yeah, Splatoon 2, I jumped in and just kind of like messed around a little bit and just kind of upgraded some gear and bought some new gear and played a couple of matches and just kind of really had fun going back and seeing what the community was still like in Splatoon 2. And lucky enough, it's still there. I still found a match pretty quickly. We still, I still had some fun with some random people on the internet, and I didn't suck, which was really encouraging coming back after all this time. I was able to still do pretty well in my matches. So, yeah, Splatoon. I don't know if I want to like keep playing that heavily or if I'll just kind of keep playing Fortnite or whatever. But yeah, kind of cool that every once in a while to go back to those old games and see if you still got it.
Well, the good news is, we'll actually probably talk about this. The fact that the game sold 10 million copies, I'm not sure how many it sold on Wii U. It did get the DLC, and they keep adding, obviously, the system selling like gangbusters. That's good for the life of a game, right? Because then it doesn't mean somebody is picking up Splatoon 2 for the first time every day.
Yeah.
So it does mean more people will join. So that's what's going to keep that game vibrant. Yeah, and
I have a Splatoon 2 guide. Actually, 2 videos, I think. 1 or 2 videos. Anyway, they're on YouTube, and they're under like my Canadian YouTube channel, which we used to be like the Warp Whistle YouTube channel that I really don't do anything with anymore.
Yeah, it kind of still live. It's like a zombie.
But it's still there, and I mean, some of the stuff is evergreen, like these Splatoon guides, and it surprises the hell out of me because I will every month or so get a comment of, hey, thanks, or this is awesome, or how did you do that, or can you explain better how you do? And it's like, dude, I haven't played this game in like a year. I don't remember exactly how I got those goggles. I'm sorry, but like, thanks for watching. And it's so weird to see, like you said, like each month is someone's first time playing Splatoon 2. And it's like, man, I thought that game was kind of, once the Splatfests ended, I thought it was kind of done, but apparently not. People are still picking it up for the first time, and there's still a very active community. And like I said, that video gets still for a channel that I'm not promoting or doing anything with a decent amount of views every month. So it's really weird.
And I think if Splatoon 3 comes out, that's going to be the only game that gets Bobby Pauls off of Animal Crossing and into play something else.
I think you're right at this point. I'd love to see them do a little bit more with the Splatoon franchise as well. I'd love to see them release like some action games, some proper platformers, that kind of stuff, rather than just the battle games. I mean, I think Splatoon 3 should be actually, I'd love them to do a free-to-play Splatoon, pay for the cosmetics like you do in other games. But I think Splatoon 3 going free-to-play would be a really cool move for Nintendo. And, we get to see some interesting things there. But I'd love to see the Splatoon Wars game or something like that brought you into the Inkling versus Octoling War or something like that, precursor games or whatever. I think that'd be really cool. So
yeah, I think that's the game I always wanted it to be. Was more like the Destiny, the co-op campaign PvE, but it's cooperative.
That'd be awesome.
You have a boss battle and things like that, and they've tried some things, and it's I think it's just still the focus on single player campaign. I think if they made a co-op, would be a lot of fun. So, but that's where I stand with it.
And the boss battles in Splatoon 2, like the story mode, were fantastic. When you got into the rhythm, because it's almost, especially the final boss battle, is kind of like rhythm game-esque. Like you really need to be kind of bopping along with that music and paying attention to the cues. I think they could do some really, really fun things with some platforming, action, like you said, cooperative, whatever it is. I think, I think the Splatoon franchise really needs just, that extra little boost. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, one franchise that doesn't need anything to touch it, Mark, that is Garbage Pail Kids. I tell you, that franchise is alive and well and doing hot. Oh my goodness, it's on fire.
What is this? I saw this in the notes and I was like, is that a real thing? What is this like the Weezer game that is 30 seconds long online, or is this like a legit thing?
No, this is more legit, but still, for anybody that is younger than Ancient Todd, Garbage Pail Kids, folks, was a pun on Cabbage Patch Kids. It was a set of cards with stickers and things back in the day by Topps, I think. And it even had a movie. I think there was a cartoon. And it was all about puns. There was Terrible Todd, I think Transformer Todd. You know, it'd be like merciless Mark, and he'd look like Ming the Merciless. I don't know. Did you have Garbage Pail Kids, Mark?
I didn't. I was aware of them, but I think I was just a tiny bit too young. I think I just missed the boat on that one. But it was in that weird part where I was kind of like aware of what they were, so I'm not completely dumb on the subject. But I never collected.
Well, fun fact, the kid that lived across the street from me, I would babysit him, and he did what every parent hates. He took all the stickers and put them on his door, and they couldn't come off. So, yeah. But Garbage Pail Kids, they weren't really ever a game in any way that I remember. But this is basically turned into – it's an iOS game, and essentially you get cards – and then you do battles, and that's all it is. You have text. You can, it's a lot like, almost like, the Gears pop game. It's not action based at all, but it is turn based. You have attacks. You level up your heroes, and you run out of energy eventually. They want you to spend money to upgrade your characters. It's all like that, but it's so cute and fun because they do have animations. They're not great, and then they all have attacks and they play off. It's fun. So, Mark, if they have it there, look on the iOS store.
I'm looking at it right now. Like
it's just goofy.
It's up on my phone. That's just fantastic.
Goofy. Yeah, it's a toilet game. That's all it is. But I just got a kick out of it. It's nice to see the updated versions of the Garbage Pail Kids. And, some of the classics came back too. So, if you have that memory, play it. It's free. It's dumb and stupid, but it's the perfect game to play when you're bored.
That is awesome. I do love a good mindless iOS game. So that looks just fantastic. The next game that I've been playing, of course, I'm always dabbling in a little bit of Fortnite. And it's been a while since I talked about Fortnite, but I figured I'd bring it up because they just added something very fun to the game, and that is vehicles. So we're nearing the end of season 2. We've always had some sort of vehicle in Fortnite. There's been the golf carts and hoverboards and planes. I loved the planes. Good Lord. This season we've had like helicopters. You could ride sharks, but they brought cars and trucks to Fortnite, and they all handle differently. Like the driving mechanics are pretty solid. So there's big like 18-wheeler style Optimus Prime trucks. There's regular kind of like a pickup truck. There's taxis, regular sedans, and then there's like things that look and sound kind of like Mustangs and kind of muscle cars that way. So it is a fun addition, man. People are sour because if you get those people who you shoot once and they build a 5-star hotel with Wi-Fi and a swimming pool, you can run through them with a truck. And I did that today, and I actually Tokyo drifted through a guy's build made him fall down, jumped out of the car while still drifting, spun around in the air, and shotgunned him in the face as he fell. It was fantastic. One of my favorite Fortnite kills ever. And I'm kind of sad actually recalling that right now to why didn't I clip that and save it on my Xbox? But anyway, I didn't, and I should have. I might be able to go back and get that in a replay. But man, yeah, vehicles. Just when you think like Fortnite is kind of, this season has been a little all over the place. You know, they flooded the map and it's been slowly draining, and they're adding a couple of new things. But for the most part, it's like, you know, where are they going to go next? And they do something like this that you think is just a dumb little addition, but really changes up the mechanics and the way you have to approach battles, because now someone can easily take down your build, no matter if it's made of brick, metal, wood, whatever. I'm not just shooting that out in the open anymore. I'm running a freaking like tractor trailer truck through that.
Wow.
They also, with the vehicles, they can run out of gas. So you have to, again, that's inventory management. So instead of carrying shield or a third gun or something, you have to carry a can of gas if you plan on using the vehicles for an extended amount of time. And yeah, I think I think there's some balancing that they still might need to do, but I think as a first attempt at vehicles on this scale in the game, the physics feels really good, and I think they've done a pretty good job at the balance. Maybe not fantastic, but I do understand why they delayed these a couple of weeks. They were supposed to come out, or rumored to come out earlier in this season, and they just dropped this week. So yeah, very cool. They also have radio stations when you get in the trucks and the cars and stuff. So Perfect. You can switch radio, just like GTA style. You can switch.
Is it real music?
I think there are supposed to be more tracks. When I was, and I played it this morning.
Brought to you briefly by Spotify.
Yeah.
Sponsorship.
Yeah. There was some kind of message about how they disabled some of the radio stations, but I think, I think there's real music that's coming in it. So, so really, really cool. I've heard other rumors that they're doing something else with Tenet. Or they're going to be doing more promotion or something with that movie. They've been doing like concerts and screenings of like, you know, Black Lives Matter and Black Votes Matter. And they've been doing some really like socially conscious stuff mixed with like crazy concert stuff. And they're doing something for Shark Week, I think, either this weekend or early next week. They're just really pulling out all the stops this season for both like the battle royale and the party royale mode, that mode that it's, you know, I've been talking about, that you just go, you hang out with your friends, you experience something, and they're really, really taking advantage of that to do some really unique things. So it's cool. I thought it was going to be all DJs, but they had like a country music guy in there a little while ago. They have, I think it's back to a DJ today or this week, but anyway, very interesting stuff.
Very cool. It's a game that won't stop, can't stop.
No, exactly. What else have you been playing?
Well, this is going to be a very quick hit, but you mentioned Sharks. I would pain me not to mention that I played Maneater.
Ooh.
And holy cow, Mark, if you get the chance, this game is a hoot. It's super fun. It's just dumb fun. And it is a shark RPG. Your mama gets killed by this reality show host, kind of like think of like those shows like the people that go out in boats and do all the fishing and they almost die. Deadliest Catch. Kind of same thing this, but it's tongue-in-cheek. Chris Parnell, who does a lot of the stuff from SNL, Archer, he kind of is the narrator. It's so funny. He tells you like fake facts about sharks that aren't true. And it's just done so well. But basically, you as the baby shark have to get big to take down your arch rival, this really crazy Cajun. There's crazy people. You have to eat like all of these prime predators. You get bigger. It is the Witcher of shark RPGs.
Wow,
it's crazy. It just.
So, would you suggest playing Hungry Shark World first, as kind of like a precursor to, like playing the old school 2D Mario games before jumping into 64 or Galaxy. Is that kind of the jump we're seeing here? Or?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. But the funnest part is jumping up in the air, landing on a boat, eating all the people, and destroying the boat. It's just so dumb. You can go on the land longer than you really should. But you start running out of. Oh, geez, it's just fun. Play it. It's so dumb. And by the way, there's sharks, but there's also alligators. I don't know why there is a shark with freshwater alligator. It doesn't make any sense. Kind of like the bayou, I guess, where the salt water. Don't know. It's dumb. Just play it. It's
that sounds fantastic. I need to play this.
It will be on Game Pass in like 3 months.
All right.
So wait, it comes up there.
Maybe I'll wait.
But the real game, Ghost of Tsushima, my son has already beat this game.
Wow.
He loved it. I won't go too much into it because I'm only through the first chapter. There's essentially 3 acts to this game. I'm done with the first act. It is beautiful. It's phenomenal. It is Assassin's Creed Samurai. It's open world RPG. You are leveling up all of your weapons, armor, your attacks. You get more ninja-like moves that are, I'd call it the Ghost, which is basically, it's all about this. Is what the overarch of the game is. Basically, you're a samurai, but you are challenging your values as a samurai, which is basically open combat. You meet your enemies face to face, but to basically take on the Mongols, who really, they would say, don't have honor. You have to change your tactics. So it's really, and my son even mentioned, he goes, Dad, you will. I like the second chapter so much because it's all about building on that narrative of where do you go, what do you do you keep with your faith, even though it might mean you aren't able to achieve your goals. So he sold me on it, but I love it. It's great. It's got the Kurosawa mode where it's black and white, looks like an ancient samurai film. I just loving it. I just can't say highly enough. So this is the game that is saying, Todd, keep playing me. So that's where I'm like, I have to force myself to play other things, but this is the game I'm going to keep playing with. And just, it got me. I started up with Horizon Zero Dawn again, but I'm putting that in pause again to play this.
Sounds like a worthwhile reason to pause that game. This sounds amazing. I might have to get this. I've mentioned before that I haven't turned my PlayStation on in a while. This might be the game, even over The Last of Us, that makes me go back and powers that up. So, man, yeah, that sounds awesome.
It does have some sense of humor to it, which is nice. It's not all dire and dreary.
And you can pet the dogs, or at least pet the foxes.
Foxes, they are wonderful. Yep, and
foxes are great.
There are so many cool side missions. They call them tales, which are really cool. And I really enjoy it. So yeah, if it's a must play for me. And I would say if you like that type of open world game, and the combat is really fun too.
Awesome.
So that is it for what we've been playing, folks. But now it's time to get into the news. We had actually a lot of news coming on, but we'll try to compress this, hit all the spots, and not go, not bore you to death with too many details. But the first one I hit is what just happened. Actually, was the Sony State of Play. Mark, did you get a chance to watch?
I did not. No,
okay.
I caught a few of the highlights and news bits from it, but I didn't actually watch it. So I'm excited for a few things, but why don't you walk us through and I'll see what I've heard about and what you're just revealing to me for the first time here. Yeah,
Sony really, they're doing State of Plays. This was a long State of Play, 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. They really addressed what it would cover so people wouldn't get, saddened by what they didn't reveal and would get the hype level too high. Basically, they said this is going to be a PS4, PSVR focused on games event. I think they even said some more information on PS5 titles. That's exactly what they did. No more or no less. But the good news is if you are a PS4 owner, you are not going to be left behind. And if you are a PS5, soon be PS5 owner, you will also be getting these games because Sony has said anything launched past July will automatically be coming to PS5 compatibility. It's good news there. And PSVR, they doubled down on it. So PSVR, I would say that the ones that were kind of cool, the Hitman trilogy in VR is coming. That's pretty cool. It's all 3 games. That's a great value and a different perspective. Kind of cool that they're doing that. another PSVR game, which was surprised because it's been exclusive to Oculus, and that's Vader Immortal.
I saw that news. I thought that was very interesting and a very good get for PlayStation, because that was one of those games that if I were to get a VR system, and I did think about getting a VR system. So while I was on vacation, we had a rainy day, and rainy days plus me, plus getting a paycheck for an online course that I was teaching equals not great. So I considered buying an Oculus Quest and then read that there was an updated version coming, so I bought a drone instead. But when I was looking at VR systems, it was that kind of, okay, what's out for PSVR, what's out, and I still am leaning towards the Quest just because it's not wired, and that's a big appeal to me. But also Vader Immortal was a massive draw to that ecosystem. Aside from the not worrying about the wires and stuff, but PlayStation VR getting that is. Yeah, that is such a feather in Sony's cap. That's amazing.
Yeah, and what I'm hoping will happen is the power of the PS5 will allow them to improve the performance of PSVR, and then eventually we get a new headset down the road. But so that was one of the big ones that was announced for PSVR. Those were really just the two main announcements there. And then we got a bunch of PS4 announcements. Control is getting their next DLC. This is really going to be the one that's tied to Alan Wake. You kind of got a picture of Alan Wake with his beard. So very cool to see those universes collide. This will also be coming to every other console system as well. So that's kind of cool that they're supporting that there. Spelunky 2. I'm not a big Spelunky fan, but I know there are people that love that game and love dying a lot.
Yes. Same thing with Braid Anniversary Edition. I did see that one pop up. And coming to Switch for the first time. I think that's the first time on a Nintendo platform. It did not come to Wii U, if I'm correct there. Braid was such an interesting game, and if you haven't played Braid, absolutely pick up this upgraded version. Yeah. It is an experience. It's a puzzle platformer. It is tough, but if you stick with it, it is a very interesting story and a very interesting mechanic to figure it out. And you'll see throwbacks to like Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that, but it goes way deeper than that. So it's very, very, very interesting game.
Yeah, I would say Celeste has a lot to owe to Braid in regards to the storytelling.
Yes.
So I think it's there. And the way it looks, because you think, Braid probably looks pretty good. They showed what they are doing this game. It's so much more detailed, so beautiful. Yeah, because this game was a Xbox 360 darling. So considering it's 2011, wow, or 2008 actually, wow, 13 years. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah. And then going on from there, we've got a bunch of games that I think were supposed to come to PS4, but now are coming to PS5. Temtem. This is essentially the Pokemon-esque online cooperative game, competitive as well, that went to PC. Now it's going to be coming to PS5 and Series X. It might even come to Switch. And a lot of people call it a knockoff, but considering the way it looks and what it's doing, I think it's maybe what they'd like to see Pokemon do, quite honestly. And it's a MMO-like, so it's kind of doing some things that people would like. Another game that was brand new that we'd never seen before called Hood, Outlaws and Legends. It's kind of like Robin Hood, but it's multiplayer, and it's competitive, where you basically have a band of thieves, 4v4. You have classes. One, you basically got, Little John, like the monk. He's a big guy, a bruiser. Robin is the, basically the stealthy archer. You have like this magic user lady who's stealthy. So, and you're trying to get heists, basically. And it doesn't look very good. That's the only thing.
Oh, really?
This is going to be on Series X as well. It says it's coming in 2021. And I don't know. It didn't look great, but I think what it's doing looks like people that like that type of experience, 4v4, doing something different. It looked like, I think that would scratch their itch.
Yeah, that's one that I didn't see. So while you're describing it, I'm like, this sounds awesome. This sounds awesome.
I didn't know what it was.
It didn't look good.
Yeah, I really didn't. I didn't say, but yeah, think of like Robin Hood timeline, things like that.
That's cool.
Then Bugsnax got more gameplay, and I think that's where it shined. It looks very cute. And it's very endearing. It's got a great sense of humor as well. Apparently, you're playing as a reporter and you're investigating this bug snacks thing, and it's kind of like conspiracy theory. But it's got really fun little gameplay. You have like you have to corral bug snacks, then you have to like use it. Yes, so I think a lot of people. I can see why people are really just loving this game, and its sense of whimsy, I guess you'd say.
There's currently a Bug Snacks filter on Instagram.
Yes.
If you haven't checked it out, I can't remember what it's called, but it looked like a dragonfly made of s'mores, and that is perfect. I love dragonflies. I love s'mores. Let's do this.
And the name probably was very much punny, right? Like,
oh yeah, it was, but fantastic filter if you haven't checked that out. And if you listen to this quick enough, you might still see it in the Canardian Instagram story. It's there. But that game looks so weird, and it's such a viral hit. I'm wondering though if that game's going to suffer from Snakes on a Plane syndrome.
Yeah.
Where it becomes almost a parody of itself, and if it doesn't come out soon enough, it's just going to the joke is going to die off, and no one's going to care by the time it actually comes out. Because right now it's, they're releasing the song from it, and they're releasing this, and it looks so goofy. But like, this is a game that you do all that stuff and then you launch it within a week because it's still riding that hilarity hype train kind of thing. Yeah,
it can't be No Man's Sky.
I hope it doesn't, but something just for me just kind of, it was like, oh man, is this going to be one of those internet jokes that equals to people are bored by the time it actually gets here?
Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of felt like Baby Yoda was going that way for a while. I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, very close.
Don't overwhelm us, guys. Just enjoy it. Godfall got gameplay, and that's where this state of play really did take its time to show gameplay in a lot of games. And this game just looks like a lot of fun. I didn't realize there was any cooperative element to it. So like, it has online cooperative play together, and it's definitely one of those grindy games. So, but it's still what you saw before, but it's just more of that. So if you don't like this game, I don't think this is going to do it for you. But I think the people that are kind of intrigued, like myself, I'm like, I could see myself playing this game. Looks fun.
Yeah, I didn't see that gameplay, but it does. Does it still, I guess, look Darksiders-esque?
In a way, yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Darksiders-esque with a little bit more of the it looks like combat with a lot of flair. But I don't know how difficult it's going to be, if they're going to, go into the really difficult stuff, or it's going to be more about really artful combat and then upgrading and things like that. So
one thing I have to ask, what was the soundtrack like this time around?
It was not death metal, and I don't think there's any rap this time. Yeah.
That was such a confusing part of the last one, because the first trailer was the epic cinematic music, and then the second one was like rap rock or some shit, wasn't it? So
pick a tone. Pick a tone, guys. What are you doing?
Very confused about that one.
Yeah.
So good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. Then next, Pathless gameplay was shown. This is a game that a lot of people compare to Journey, but with actual, I would say, more action oriented, where you're this archer and you're targeting all of these targets, and the style is very artistic, very lovingly created. And I thought, oh, okay, this is what it's going to be. And all of a sudden there's a boss that comes out. It's like almost like a dragon, and you have to take it on. So it definitely felt calming in what you're doing with this arrow and hitting targets, and how the way it flowed and the way she moved. Like, she would almost slide, she'd run, then she'd slide and start shooting things in the background, these targets, and it would trigger things from happening. So it's definitely different. I mean, I was surprising. I didn't expect this game, and I don't know if this is going to be an exclusive or not, but it's definitely it's what I like. It's not. It doesn't have to look like technically crazy. It's artistically pleasing. Is a big part.
Okay, cool.
The game that blew me away, which I don't know once again if this is going to be exclusive or not. It's called Aeon Must Die, and I would say of all of the trailers I watched, I thought this was the most just visually stunning to me. The movement. This looked like an anime Saturday morning cartoon brawler, but also had like driving mechanics. It was phenomenal. I just didn't even know how to explain it. I'm like, this looks really cool. I'm like, is that a trailer or is it gameplay? I'm like, no, that's
Wow.
gameplay. It looks exactly like the trailer, but just so stylistically interesting. And I'm glad people are seeing. I don't know if this could be done on a PS4. Quite honestly, I don't know if that's. I mean, it probably could, but it's still neat to see new
Sound
ideas
like
coming.
a jet engine taking off.
Exactly, it blows up. No, but I mean, just check it out. But I have heard that the company that's making this, like, they've had kind of a mutiny on their hands with their employees, so that's not a good thing.
Nope.
So that makes me sad.
Nope. Yep, that is not great. I'm actually, while you're speaking, just because you hyped up that trailer so much, I started watching it without sound on, and it does look incredible. And I like that companies are doing this kind of. It looks like you said, like an animated kind of cartoon, and I've been noticing the same thing with Battletoads.
Yeah.
For Xbox, and I know we're talking about PlayStation right now, but I just love seeing that kind of thing where one can look like Johnny Bravo, one can look like Samurai Jack. They can both exist and both be on whatever platforms. And if that's the kind of stuff that the next generation is going to allow developers to do and make it look fluid and visually just amazing like these games are looking, then that's really, really exciting.
Yeah, style does a lot for me rather than just realistic graphics. I just love when something looks different than you've seen before.
Wind Waker, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we have this game Anno Mutatenum blah blah blah. I can't pronounce it.
Mutation.
This is once again has a unique stylized. It's almost like 8-bit, but against like 8-bit characters against a, I guess you'd say 3D rendered background. It's side scrolling and it's forward scrolling as well. It was weird. It's definitely a beat 'em up. It looks like, and I'm not sure about the what the game means, but it didn't blow me away enough. But I think a lot of people were like, "This looks interesting." So once again, visually different, interesting. Once again, doesn't feel next gen, but once again, it's giving us new styles to really appreciate.
Sounds like a Game Pass game if it was on another platform.
And a lot of these games, I would say none of these blew my socks off, except the one I mentioned, but the rest could be, Game Pass, could be played on this gen. But once again, they're just trying to fill the chamber of what games will be coming to those systems. Right. And why not make them for the next one? Genshin Impact, I think we've heard about this game. This was the game that was actually Chinese game that was compared to Breath of the Wild back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's finally coming out. Once again, I think this might be on all systems. And I think this is coming to PS4. So it looked okay. I mean, it looked more like someone said it looked more like a Samurai Warriors type game than it did a, action RPG.
Okay. Could dig that.
Yeah, then the Pedestrian. This was a very unique puzzle game, hand drawn. You basically have these little boards, and you try to get this little person that almost looks like a restroom sign. Like, are you the woman figure or the male figure? And you have to trace how they can get here to there. And you're basically joining these like almost like one scene elements across different areas. It's clever. I suck at puzzle games. At first I thought it was Echochrome, that one game that was on like Vita or PSP back in the day, but definitely clever, but I'm not going to be good at this game. But I liked its style.
So I wanted to see the visual style of this one, and I'll tell you how much fun it is to be in Canada. Before it started playing, the pre-roll ad on IGN was for High Quality Cannabis. I missed the name of the company because I was laughing too hard. But apparently we're starting to see those kind of ads in Canada. That's the first time I can really recall seeing that, so that's kind of fun.
We've grown up. Yeah.
This game definitely looks interesting, and it's like you said, it's like drawn but looks like bathroom. Yeah, you described it perfectly.
It's weird. Yeah, it's just yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Then they announced, I guess this is a PC phenomenon. It's called Auto Chess. I don't know if you've heard it, Mark. It's kind of like, it's almost like those MOBA games, but they made a variant of it, and it's called Auto Chess. So it's like in a chessboard, but you have different characters and classes doing things. I don't get it, but apparently this is a big deal. The fact that this is coming to consoles now, and the aesthetic I thought it was a Jak and Daxter game first. I'm like, oh, they're bringing back Jak and Daxter.
Wow.
I'm like, no, it's Auto Chess. So I don't know who's doing this, but the style is cool, but definitely not for me. And then lastly, Crash Bandicoot 4. This was actually the first thing they showed, did a big long gameplay. I've never been a huge Crash fan, but this new game really looks cool.
It really
I'm
does.
very impressed.
Yeah, everything I've seen about Crash, and I had never played Crash before. Like, I maybe picked it up a little bit at friends' places here or there, or whatever, growing up, but I never owned anything that had Crash on it prominently. So my first time really playing Crash was with Insane Trilogy, like the remaster kind of thing that just came out. So I have replayed through all those games, and like you said, I'm not like a massive huge fan or anything, but they were good. I mean, they were solid. This one though, there's something about it, and I love that these companies are doing these remakes and then sequels and treating these franchises with that level of I want to say respect, but it's respecting what came, but also understanding what needs to be changed, and it's respecting it while completely being willing to throw things out that just don't work anymore. And
absolutely,
it is so cool. And they look like they're nailing it.
Absolutely. Lots of fun. You can actually play as the villain this time. They're doing some really interesting artistic modes. I think you can play up to 4 different playable characters now. This Dingodile character, which I've never heard about, of course. He's part of the broad range of Crash characters that we all know and love. Yes. So there you go. So that was the Sony event. People are pissed off, but there is rumors that there will be a second PS event that will be, I think we're calling it the motherload at this point. We know Xbox is going to have a motherload. We know PlayStation is going to have one. Somebody's going to play, lose that round of chicken and have to say what this thing costs and when it's coming out. So at this point, Mark, I don't know about you, but man, it's like we're getting blue balls over here, man.
They have to sooner or later. I mean, it's not fair to people.
You got to give them money eventually.
Exactly. And it's not fair to people that either, don't know how much to save or can't save or might not be able to save enough. If they do come out and these consoles are higher priced than people are expecting, and it's really tough for someone to save an extra $100 than what they were expecting, this is going to suck.
Yes.
And it's already a tough time with COVID, with a lot of people losing their jobs, with a lot of people underemployed, unemployed, whatever it is, that like they needed to say the prices months ago. We're way past the point of when they should have said this. Like, just stop playing chicken and do it already. And it has to come this month. It has to. Or I don't know what the game plan is here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Parents need time. The economy sucks.
Yep.
Let's get this out there because
and sometimes you have the money saved up for a console and then it rains on a Tuesday and you go buy a drone because you're an idiot.
Yes.
So, I mean, I need to know the prices.
I need to know how many credit card rewards I have left so I can get my gift card to pre-order it somewhere.
Exactly.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes.
Come on.
Problems, folks. We got them. You know who's done something different, Mark? Nintendo. You know those things they used to do called directs? I think they just decided.
Remember those.
I think they've replaced it with Twitter completely now. Because last direct they did, they didn't even focus on any of their own games.
I severely hope that is wrong and that they just decided to do this. But it is so weird that they're just like, everyone expects a direct, and the world is finally ready for a direct. The whole world, like, you can't do a live event. Nintendo's been years ahead of that curve. And now that the rest of the world is like, I guess we'll do a digital event, and they're scrambling to figure out how it is. And Nintendo's sitting there being like, yeah, we know how this is done, but guess what? We're not going to do one. Here's a tweet instead. And then they launch Pikmin 3 Deluxe or whatever it is. So like, I don't understand, but that's what they launched this time, or announced this time. Like you said, through a damn Twitter announcement. I don't know what they're thinking, but Wii U Classic making its way to Nintendo Switch. I really hope this sells because the Wii U didn't sell. Pikmin's a weird franchise. I don't think they've been overly crazy successful, not like Animal Crossing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But this one comes out weird, far off release date for something announced in a tweet. When I saw this was announced through Twitter, I was like, oh, this is dropping today.
Nope.
October 30th.
You didn't want to buy any games anyways, Mark.
Yeah, why would I want something new to play on my Switch? Anyway, yep. So they're adding a little bit co-op play, I believe. That's the most notable thing. They are adding some cataloging things, I think, or stamp collecting or some weird.
Apparently somebody called them trophies or achievements in a way.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really glad Nintendo thought of that all on their own, and no other game company has ever thought to add achievements or trophies to a game.
Mark,
that's really cool.
The secret is not letting anybody be able to see if you earned any, though.
Right. Yeah, that is a big part of it. You don't want to share these with friends. No. Why would you ever want to do that? Man, I really remembered my bitter pills today. Anyway, I'm despite sounding incredibly bitter, I'm very ready to double dip on this game. I did play it on the Wii U. I loved it on the Wii U. It did have some issues. I think you and I talked about it before. Some of the timing, day-night cycles. Sometimes the world is so pretty and the things are so cool, and you just kind of want to take your time and explore. And it felt rushed before in certain aspects. So, will we see that kind of loosened up this time? Maybe. But I'm excited to play this game. I'm excited to see what they do with the Switch hardware, just because it is different. You don't always have a touch screen with you. So, what's the control scheme? How's that going to work with a controller? It's been a while since I played a Pikmin game strictly with a controller, because the Wii, you could point and select things, and that worked really, really well for Pikmin 2, I believe, and the remake of Pikmin 1, right?
Yeah.
That was on Wii. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Pikmin 3, like I said, launching October 30th. Yes, it's been a while since I controlled a Pikmin game with simply a controller, because we had the Wii and the Wii U both had either the pointer controls with the Wii, or the Wii U always basically had the gamepad and a touch screen there. So with that, will they restrict this game to being only handheld, which will work really well for the Switch Lite, but will be frustrating if I want to play it on my big 4K TV. So I'm kind of curious to see what changes they make and all that kind of stuff. And I'm willing to double dip. I'm a big enough fan of this franchise to do that. So, October 30th. Are you going to be picking this one up?
They do mention one thing that I had the problem with. You mentioned the day rush cycle. They call it Pikmin at your pace. They say, return to your ship before time runs out, or you and your Pikmin could be in big trouble. If you prefer a more casual approach, a variety of difficulty settings, lock and targeting, and optional hints have been newly added. That doesn't tell me they're going to let me still play and explore how I want, though. So I'm going to say no. I'm not going to play Pikmin unless they remove that barrier. To me, it's just not for me, and that's perfectly fine. One fun fact, though, as soon as they announced this, people's vouchers had expired. So those vouchers they offered at the beginning were there. They were removed. So if you were going to buy this, they could have announced it while they were still available in July. And they also removed it from the Wii U digital store, it's only $20 now. It was $20. Yeah. So this game is going to be $60. It's 3 times more expensive, which I don't know if that gets in your craw.
That is super shady. Yeah, removing it from the Wii U store. I mean,
people are going to just go out and buy new Wii U's. I mean, it's not like,
Yeah, right? Like,
how are you going to use it at your Switch?
I think I downloaded this game. I don't think I have that.
No, you can still download it.
So can I re-download it?
Yes, but you can't just purchase it.
I just can't purchase it. That's still shady as hell.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, wouldn't you think they would just close the shop? That's weird. That's it's digital marketplace.
It's strange. Yes. Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird. Yeah. So
there you go. That's your game for fall 2020, along with Bakugan.
Yeah, right. Bakugan. Jeez, that game
Bakugan
just keeps coming up.
But you know why? You know why, Mark? Nintendo
why?
Don't care, 'cause they're making lots of money.
Exactly. Yeah, they jumped 428% in a profit spike driven by Animal Crossing. That is insane. Animal Crossing New Horizon has sold. This depresses the hell out of me, but I also love this game, so it doesn't.
Yep.
Has sold more copies than every Metroid game combined over the last 35 years. Somewhere Joey Ferris is just crying into a pillow, sobbing right now over that Metroid news. But so if you're wondering why Animal Crossing came out before Metroid and why Nintendo focuses on franchises like Animal Crossing instead of fan favorites or cult hits, classics, whatever you want to call Metroid, that's the reason, folks. They are selling ridiculously well. And I believe the Switch just moved up to third place in best-selling Nintendo consoles. So it's right behind. Basically, it's closing in on. Was it the NES or the something? I can't remember, but it's
they beat the Super
Wii.
Nintendo. They beat the. The Wii. NES.
The Wii is number one.
Yeah,
yes,
NES is at like 80 million, and I think it's obviously the DS is number one.
I don't think they're counting handheld. Yeah, because Game Boy I think is still miles ahead of other things there. As far as home consoles, I think it's Wii, NES, and then Switch just moved into third place.
Yeah, I have the list up here. Wii is at 101, Nintendo DS 154, Game Boy 118, but Nintendo hardware consoles, GameCube 21 million, N64 32 million, NES, wow, only 61? I thought that was at 80 million. So they just beat the
61,
NES.
So they're right there.
Yeah, so they don't have much left in front of them.
No, and it's right now. If you look at launch month and how far you are out from a launch month, the Switch is actually currently outpacing PlayStation 4. It's not quite caught up to where the Wii is.
Yeah, and I looked at their numbers too. I think the Switch Lite was just a genius move because they only sold 1 million more regular Switches, but they sold an incremental 2 million consoles because of Switch Lite. So that's a genius move. Having a system at $200 at this life cycle is crazy. Yeah. I mean, to be able to offer that, that's where you go and just sell Blockbuster. I mean, just Blockbuster numbers. Yeah. If it's a good console, that's true.
And the crazy thing about this is there are still supply issues. So this isn't Nintendo with a whole lot produced and they're just sitting on store shelves and they still had records. Nintendo could have done better.
Yes. So
think about that for a second. They could have done better than a 428% profit spike.
Yes.
WTFing-F. They blamed COVID for creating, quote, some difficulties in procuring the parts for Nintendo Switch consoles, end quote. Holy crap.
That's why there's no ventilators, Mark. They make Switches.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And you heard it so much, right? We had the Ring Fit problems, Animal Crossing, you can't find Switch. So that, like, to think that they could have done way better than this. And I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because would they have been selling, or would there have been this demand for Switches and for Animal Crossing if it didn't launch at the perfect time?
Exactly.
Because of COVID and working from home or staying home or whatever.
And Animal Crossing is the one thing people are playing. It's talking. I mean,
right.
Yeah, because Sony didn't have a game like that. Xbox didn't have a game like that. No, nobody did.
So,
and it's a franchise that, quite honestly, people have been waiting for a decent version of that franchise, and it's just driven sales. And it's a perfect game to give your kids and play with your kids. And I'm going to call this shenanigans out. The fact that you have, if you want your own island and your family, you have to buy your own console and another copy. So that doesn't hurt things either. So So like if you have multiple Switches and you want separate islands, there you go. You're Bobby Falls and you own 18 Switches. So they've done a fantastic job. They really didn't have another game like this at this time last year. So they didn't have a Switch Lite at this time last year. So having I mean, they've really poised themselves to a really phenomenal year going forward. And it's really taken the pressure off of them financially to their stockholders to say, well, guys, you got to get more games out and do these things.
That's it. We're all saying, oh, what's next? Nintendo's, their silence is deafening. Oh, it's really bad. They haven't announced anything. They don't need to, because in 3 months, Nintendo Switch Animal Crossing has sold more on Nintendo Switch than I think any other franchise or any other game for the Switch except Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I believe it's already passed. So the top 3 games would be Mario Kart 8, Animal Crossing, and then Smash Brothers. Mm-hmm. I'm going on memory on this one, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, because Pokemon would be a 4th, I think.
I think 5th, Pokemon maybe might be in 5th place. 4th place is Breath of the Wild.
Animal Crossing has never been like their top seller. I mean, it's always sold about, I think last one sold about 10 million or something like that, where Pokemon had been the darling, I mean, of Nintendo, also Mario Kart. So to see that, I mean, but they've had some really, it's been interesting to see the shift in what games are the top sellers, things like that. Obviously, maybe you could say Breath of the Wild and Odyssey being so close in the first year, if those had launched more when there was more consoles out there, because you'd think, well, who doesn't own a copy of X when they bought the Switch, right? So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, one thing to call out, though, with Nintendo, 94% of their revenue and profits are generated by Switch. To me, that's not a good mix, because what goes up goes down. I mean, you eventually have a tier, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We saw the Wii where Nintendo was on fire and then it dropped down. So I'm interested to see what they do next. They're starting to think about what's next for Switch. You can't make a Switch 2, which is exactly the same, and just stronger hardware, because quite honestly, then what does that move those people like now early adopters or the blue sky or whatever, the people that normally don't do it? A lot of parents are going to say, well, why do you need a new one? Because it's prettier or something like that. So I'm curious to see what they do, but man, oh man, it is great to see video games as strong as they are. But, Sony and Microsoft aren't doing too shabby either. No. We saw that PlayStation had its best quarter one, I believe, ever. And the fun part about this is PlayStation consoles are largely sold out everywhere. I haven't been able to see them everywhere, which is crazy. They're still selling at $300 and $400. There's no discount on PlayStations right now. Yep. And they've been in the game for a long time. They've hit 112 million consoles sold now. Obviously, Last of Us helped a lot. Ghost of Tsushima's doing very well. COVID helps a lot too. Digital sales are through the roof. All these things are going well. Xbox talked about their revenue, their profits now on gaming. So I mean, it's just awesome to see this. It's just really surprising that just think of how big the audience for gaming is now compared to how it used to be.
It's wild. So to clarify, the best ever first quarter for financial earnings. So there are a few things I think contributing to that. One, it's the end of a console life cycle. Mm-hmm. So as more PlayStations are sold, the cost of the parts go down.
Yep, definitely.
Also, it's been 8 years or whatever, so the cost of those parts are continuing to go down for the most part. So that really plays a key part into that part of this wording where, yes, and like you said, they haven't discounted the price of a PlayStation 4 really in any substantial way. So they're selling at the same place, but their profit margin per console is going way, 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 way up from especially a few years ago when they first launched. Add on top of that, digital revenue, not having to ship games out to stores because stores are closed. And you have a very, very profitable business going on right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we're seeing that with Game Pass, all of those sales. Even then they open the doors to Steam, which obviously opens up a new era where they can make a lot of profit and grow users. And they can open up Game Pass to that too. So, man, excluding Stadia, everybody's doing pretty good.
It's a good time to be a gamer. Unless you own an iOS device.
Yes, yes. So one of the stories is that we finally found out what Rocksteady is going to do, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to launch a game, Suicide Squad. They are going to announce and show trailers for this game for DC Fandom August 22nd. Yep. And Jeff Keighley is going to be there, so most likely doing a roundtable on this game, maybe other WB Studio games as well. Hell, we need to see what that Star Wars Lego game is going to be, because they haven't shown that yet, but I don't think they'll show it there, obviously. That's going to be a Disney event or something like that. But did you see the image they posted for this announcement?
Yeah, target on the back of Superman's head. His eyes are glowing red like he's about to laser beam something. The tweet that Rocksteady Studio put out said, "Target locked. Are you hunting Superman? Is Superman bad in this game and you're the baddest of the bad going after the turned bad Superman?" I don't know, but it looks kind of weird that why is the target on Superman's head? That's an interesting kind of thing. I'm curious to see where they go with this. It's yeah. I mean, this could be just an evil alternate world Superman. We don't see the front, so we don't see, he could have some kind of weird logo that sees, oh, it's from an alternate dimension or some weird shit like that. But yeah, right now, looks like evil Superman is the target.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are excited about Suicide Squad. That's the part of the thing that I think people are a little bit mellow on, because the movie was not good. And which sucks. But James Gunn is making the Suicide Squad movie, which makes me far more happier.
The logo for that looks awesome. Did you see that drop this week?
Oh yeah, that is so cool. Rocksteady is awesome, so I love that too. One of the things that I've heard rumblings is this is going to be the Justice League. The Suicide Squad going to take down the Justice League because Amanda Waller, who's a government, basically runs Task Force X, which is the Suicide Squad, has to take down the Justice League because they've been infected or overtaken by either Eclipso, which Eclipso is this character which essentially uses this dark crystal to basically turn people bad and make them dark, which they've said the eye might actually be purple with Superman. That could be there. Or Starro, which is this evil starfish, which is it's the dumbest sounding thing, takes over people and makes them basically follow their commands. So I think that's going to be the premise. Basically, the Suicide Squad has to take down the Justice League, not necessarily kill them, hopefully, because that sounds bad, because I hate seeing the Justice League be bad, but this could be cool. It'd be nice to see what they can do, and hopefully the roster for the Suicide Squad is something that is not what we've seen before, because the Suicide Squad is all about a rotation of villains that essentially can be fodder to be killed and new ones brought in. So
I wonder how big the roster is, and if you die as a permadeath.
That would be cool, because then you could bring in a new villain to come in
you're
and take
King Shark for as long as you want, but as soon as you get, Aquaman's trident through the skull, then you switch and you're Captain Boomerang for 30 seconds until he stubs his toe and he's useless, and then you're someone else. So this could be really cool.
Yeah, I've heard rumors there might actually be like an online portion of it, kind of like a team playing together. And if this is kind of like games as service type of thing, it could go on and they could introduce more villains, things like that. Hopefully none of them will be exclusive, though.
Yeah.
Console. I don't know who do that.
Yeah, that would be a shady practice for sure, and definitely not something that
Maybe we should bring that up now as talking about another superhero film.
I suppose. Yeah. So how do you feel about this Avengers news? We have Spider-Man officially only going to PlayStation consoles in the new Avengers game, which also for PlayStation owners just dropped their beta today. So PlayStation owners, I've seen people already tweeting that they unlocked the Fortnite pickaxes of Hulk hands / Hulkbuster hands. They're making their way through, but I've also seen some people saying, "Ugh, that was rough, but I finally got the hands," and posting a picture of those Hulkbuster hands. But like just the way they're tweeting or the way they're writing things in Facebook groups makes it seem like it was either a grind that they didn't want to do, that they only did because of those pickaxes in Fortnite, or I don't know if it was like the Avengers game is terrible, or maybe just the missions that you have to do to get those pickaxes are repetitive or something. But yeah, what's your feeling on Spider-Man only being PlayStation, but also what have you been hearing stuff about this game so far?
Sure. Yeah. Avengers. This is a game developed by Crystal Dynamics, published by Square Enix, and it's a Marvel Games. They are basically the big daddies who approve these deals and who makes it. They basically approve all the deals, kind of like Marvel Ultimate Alliance going to Nintendo. That was a Marvel Games deal, but Nintendo published it, and I believe Tecmo developed that game.
Maybe.
Yeah. So sure. So yeah, it's kind of a weird thing where Marvel's done the difference between Star Wars, where basically all Star Wars games go to EA. Marvel has said we will pick and choose who develops and makes the game. Great. Yeah, the deal that Spider-Man is exclusive to Sony. It's not timed, I believe. It's exclusive to
straight up exclusive,
and they will also be getting content. That I don't remember, but there's some additional content similar to Destiny in a way that Sony had that deal as well. But that stuff was timed for a year, then eventually opened up. I'm not a big fan of this type of stuff because this is a game that's multi-platform. If this was exclusive to, if this was a Sony only game, sure, whatever. It sucks that it's not on everybody, but nobody's getting part of a game. In this way, people are getting part of a game. So I think that sucks. Now, who do we blame? I think we blame Marvel Games because Marvel approved this deal. Square Enix is the publisher, so they could have said at any time to do it. Crystal Dynamics is holding the bag, saying we have to put a good look on this because we're holding the bag. We're the ones developing. I feel bad for them because they're the ones who have to develop this. Now, unless it was their idea, say, hey, we should make Sony, but I'm sure they were told Spider-Man's going to be in it, but it can only be on PlayStation. This really limits some of the online crossplay potential in the future,
which they still haven't announced. So it kind of almost announces that in a roundabout way of saying it's probably not going to happen, or not going to happen in a way that people will be happy with, because then again, you get that thing that's locked to one console or the other, or whatever it is that there is an advantage of playing on another platform. And does that mess up any crossplay ability afterwards? It's I'm not a huge fan of this, but regardless of that, I do find it funny and disheartening that the message harkens back so much to the launch of the Xbox One of, if you will remember, hey, if you want to play games offline, go buy a 360. The line that essentially killed the Xbox One's launch. And there were many, but that one at the root of that line killed the enthusiasm for so many gamers, in my opinion. Yes. I don't think too many people would argue too hard against that one. It's one of the lines that really killed it. And the response for this game is, and for those players who absolutely want to play as Spider-Man, you have the option to do so on PlayStation.
Yep. You
tone-deaf bitch. I believe that was that the Spider-Man creative director, Sean Escage, maybe, that said that? I don't want to get that right because
it was the guy who put it was a guy from Crystal Dynamics had a really bad response. It didn't make anything better.
No. Okay. So anyway, whoever was that said that, holy crap, how tone deaf is that? If, again, you and I are in a privileged position of being able to afford and own and play multiple consoles and get games where we want them, whatever, regardless of where we want to play these games, because I want to play Avengers on my Xbox, but I do have a PlayStation sitting there, so I do have the option. But for the family that says, okay, we're going to get a game console. We can afford one. Game Pass sounds like a really good deal. Let's get an Xbox. If that kid wants to play as Spider-Man, and so this family has to then look at that kid and say, oh, sorry, we chose wrong a year ago.
Yes.
And we can't afford to get you a PlayStation. That sucks.
Absolutely.
Like, that straight up sucks. And it's the same thing that I'm seeing with PlayStation, like people saying with the controllers, the old controllers don't work. PlayStation have said that. They said you can play the old controllers will connect to a PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 4 controllers will connect to a PlayStation 5, but only to play PlayStation 4 games. You can't play PlayStation 5. Xbox, on the other hand, is like, whatever controller you want to use it. That's fine. And again, that to me, I'm excited for new controllers. I'm always excited for new controllers. But thinking about even when we were growing up, if my parents didn't have to buy 3 additional controllers with a new console, that's a game changer. That means, maybe extra money for them to spend on whatever, or an extra game or something. And it's just thinking about that in the eyes of a family or someone who can't afford all of this stuff, being able to say, oh man, I can save money and use this, or I can save money and do that, or, I don't have to spend extra money just to do the thing that I want to do. Like, that's what I think about when I hear this stuff, and it drives me so crazy. So yeah, this one's rubbing me the wrong way all across the board.
Yeah, I do think it's one of those things where I think me being a Sony fan, I'm glad that Sony went after this. I really am.
For sure. Business-wise,
it shows me that they want to give players something to go and say, this is why I got PlayStation, because I'm going to get all this extra things.
100%.
Marvel is the one to blame, though, because they made this an opportunity for Sony. And people should say, well, Xbox, why aren't you going after this? Oh, because we don't want to. But you should. You should want your fans to have
100%.
something
Black Panther
special to play
as an Xbox exclusive.
Wolverine.
Sure.
Do something.
100%. I agree. And it's it makes sense. I mean, if you tell me that as a business, if you approach me and say, hey, business owner, we're going to give you the exclusive rights, and no other business in town can have the rights to product X, you'd be crazy not to say yes.
Absolutely. It's the same reason I'm glad Microsoft went out and bought I'm blanking on the Ninja Theory.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mad that Sony won't get a system, but you know what? I'm glad that they got bought and Xbox will have them. It's one reason to play on an Xbox. So ultimately, I feel there's a fever pitch for like this console wars, fanboyism, and things like this. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I just have to let it go. Yeah. Things are going to happen. It's what it is. Like the controller that you brought up, I don't think it's a big deal. I look at it with Xbox. They didn't innovate with controllers this round. They basically said, we put a share button. Well, that doesn't excite me. That says you guys just took a pass on that, where Sony's saying, no, we're going to have some cool new things that you can only do, and we want you to have that experience. It's why you bought a PlayStation 5. And you get a controller in the box. It's not like you don't get a controller back. You get that. Yes, and yes, you can buy an extra one. So that's where I'm like, I think we're parsing a little bit to a certain extent. And yes, I totally get it. I feel bad because I want people to enjoy, and I want to, if this was going to be cross-gen or cross-play, if I want to play with my friends, guess what? Spider-Man's not going to be able to play when I play against my Xbox friends because he's not part of their game then. It actually restricts campaign stuff. It restricts all these other things. So in a way, it's a lose-lose. And maybe – because remember what I guess with EA, with all the heat they took – on Battlefront 2, Disney got involved, right?
Yep.
Disney could do the same thing and say, Marvel Games, stop it. Yep. Do not do this.
Oh yeah. If Disney thinks the reputation is being tarnished, or there's way too much negative news, it's they will and have in the past stepped in and swung their big Disney dong around, and that's how it goes down. So in very different comic book news, but still something related to comics, Fortnite apparently is getting comic books but not in a traditional sense. So there's been, I guess, some data mining, which always happens with Fortnite. I just saw some leaked skins from, I'm thinking the same or a very similar data mine. There's like an axolotl skin character that's coming in. I can't freaking wait for him to hit it. It kind of looks like the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. As a Fortnite character kind of thing, but it's like an axolotl. If you don't know, they're adorable little reptiles. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, back to the comic book thing. Apparently, there are digital Fortnite comic books that will only exist within the game. So Fortnite's getting a built-in comic reader. So you go around, you find these comic books, and then you can read them based or back at the Battle Pass screen. They're going to be laying on top of, right now it says, I think like a barrel or something like that, a metal drum in the Battle Pass screen. So the Battle Pass screen right now, if this hits this season,
I see it. I see it in the picture.
Yeah, basically it like shows different things. So you can check out where the battle pass is. You can check out skin variants and that kind of stuff. You can check out what your missions are. You can build your own umbrella, all that fun kind of stuff. And this is just going to be another thing. So the metal drum, you zoom in, and then you can read your comic books full screen. I'm hoping this works on an iPad because I don't want to sit and read a comic book on my TV. I'd rather have that on my iPad. So I'm hoping it kind of works really well on that platform. But anyway, that's kind of cool. You can kind of move around and flip through pages and hopefully zoom in on some stuff. Depending on how small the font is. But I think I said it last episode, Fortnite has a very interesting story if you dig enough and if you are the kind of person that stitches together. I'm not. So I go on YouTube and watch the crazy people who stitch this stuff together explain it. And the story of Fortnite is wild and deals with interdimensional, interplanetary various levels of reality and travelers and this and that, and it's always evolving, it's always changing. It is a wild story. So if the comic deals with that kind of stuff, it could be really cool, but it could also just be really stupid fun comics that are just funny. So I don't know where they're going to go with these, but I'm very curious to find out, because this would be, I think, the first official Fortnite canon story if they're doing that. Because most of the stuff on YouTube is, I believe this, or I believe that, or, this is what happened in the game and we think it means this. And this is what happened in the game and we think it's related to this event that already happened, or this event that we've heard is coming in the future. That it's all that kind of theory stuff. Most of it makes sense when it's laid out like that. But until they come out with something that's official, that's canon, most of it is just people on YouTube that are smart enough to stitch this all together. So I'm looking forward to this. I'd love, honestly, after watching some of those YouTube videos, I would love an animated Fortnite series or a couple of movies or something like that. But I think it would work really well as a series and dealing with, like I said, the travelers and various levels of reality and this and that. I think they could have a lot of fun with it. And I think the animation style is already built into the game, and you just add a little bit of humor, which the cutscenes in the game have already been pretty good at. I think comics could be kind of the first step in seeing, like, are people receptive to the story stuff, and we'll see where it goes from there.
That's very cool. It'll be interesting to see who actually gets the, I don't know if it's going to be Marvel, DC who makes these, or it's their own internal team. That's very cool. I will tell you, DC Universe, on their app, they have a comic reader that you can read all their 22,000 comics for DC. Mm-hmm. And it's designed for the TV. It's actually really good, really well done. It's fantastic. You can do it by like full page, or you can do basically panel by panel. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. If they do it that way, that's a great way to do it. But to your point, if you've got an iPad, perfect way to read. It's the perfect comic book format.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I don't want this to be completely restricted just to the iPad, but that's where personally I think I will prefer to read these comics and not on my TV. But if it works on the TV, I'm sure there are ways to make that work. And I've even seen some comics on the iPad where it does zoom in panel to panel, and there is that reader mode. But even if that's an option, I usually prefer, if I'm reading on my iPad, to read it like a traditional comic book. So you have the page on and you flip through all the pages. Absolutely. And it's just a full, especially with this new big 12.9 inch iPad that is essentially the size of a comic book, is perfect for reading that kind of stuff. But back when I had an older, smaller iPad, I would use that zoom feature a lot. So anyway, that's something to look forward to if you're a Fortnite fan. We also don't know if this is going to be a Save the World based comic, a Battle Royale based comic. They seem to be two different universes that sometimes converge. So who knows? This could go a number of ways. So I'm really looking forward to that. Don't know if it's going to launch this season or next, but launching the vehicles, like I said earlier, this late into the season, you never know what they're going to add or when they're going to add it.
Yeah, that's really cool. They have definitely been pioneers in everything, so this is just makes sense. They would try to take over some media and get some story out there, and then obviously, like you said, go to other mediums as well. Animation, movies. It's their world. We're just living in it, Mark. But Absolutely. You know what? You're going to be reading more comic books on your iPad because you're not going to be playing Game Pass. Neither will I be on our devices that aren't a Xbox or PC. It's been announced that this has been a growing narrative of basically Game Pass has been announced. That's big news. It's going to come back. Basically part of your Game Pass subscription, September 15th. There's over 100 games that'll be available. PC, Xbox. This is awesome. We're like, hey, we're just waiting to hear about when iOS is going to get this because their beta has been a little bit weird because it's been like one game limited to like 1,500 people. I think you got to be one of those people. I think maybe
10,000. I think, yeah.
Yeah, very, very limited. And then recently it was basically ended. And then the narrative came out that this is because Apple's iOS App Store does not allow basically a platform with many games inside of it. So this is what's restricting Stadia from being on there. It's also restricting PS Now from being on there. And now it's restricting Game Pass. The thought is that they want to control every game, want to review every game. And even though these have been vetted by the ESRB and the whatever other agencies that vet games, they don't want it. So, Mark, I'm saying something smells fishy here. And Microsoft has called out the fishiness, and Apple is still sticking to their guns. This is your baby, though, so I'll let you vent a little.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a Mac fan since the 90s. I've really been in the Apple ecosystem since then. I've never been a PC guy or anything like that. I was on Apple before it was cool. So this one really hits me, though. It hits me the wrong way. Apple's done some stuff that's pissed me off in the past, and I can usually say, okay, well, I understand the reasoning behind this one. This one, I think, is total bullshit. And I've already tweeted out at Apple and one of the executives at Apple saying, like, if you can explain to me how this is different than Netflix, Prime Video, even YouTube, whatever, I'd be very open to that. Their excuse, like you said, right now is they want each single game on the App Store to be reviewed and looked at by a actual human being person to ensure the quality and safety and blah, blah, blah. There's been some bullshit apps and there are some really terrible games on the App Store that have snuck by or have gotten by. And
I just told you about one, Mark. Garbage Pail Kids.
Right, exactly. everything on Game Pass and any of these other things are rated by the ESRB. So, I mean, the ratings are right there. And again, Prime Video, Netflix, all this kind of stuff. You're Todd's showing Kiss Kiss Spin the Bottle is a game that he just found.
There's the search was for sexy games.
Sexy games. There he is. So he's finding those. So you won't find that kind of stuff on Game Pass.
No, so you won't.
To me, this is such a bullshit stance. It's singling out gaming rather than stuff that's going to be worse. There's way worse stuff on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, on HBO, on whatever, that are streaming platforms. You don't own that content. I'm not going out and buying every season of whatever show I'm watching or whatever movie I'm watching on Netflix. I pay for my Netflix subscription and I can stream it on whatever device I want. Netflix also, people have been saying, oh, Apple wants a cut of the money. And I'm sure they do. But there are so many video streaming platforms, Netflix included, that do not let you do in-app purchases. You have to sign up for Netflix on their website, because Netflix was actually going out of business when they actually had the iOS sign up, because giving Apple 30% of their subscription was actually causing them to lose so much money. They were starting to go out of business and they had to change their policies. Apple still left them on the App Store. So now you have to sign up through their website. Amazon's been the same way. You sign up Amazon Prime. I don't think there's a way to sign up through iOS unless they change that. But they also, Apple's right now in an antitrust lawsuit, and it came out through some emails that were out through this lawsuit that they worked out a deal with Amazon, the biggest company in the world, or one of the biggest, that they would get a 15% cut of Amazon's subscriptions or Amazon's dealings instead of the regular 30.
Wow.
So a company, Amazon, that doesn't need to worry about the 30% versus 15% cut. Like, they're Amazon. They don't care. Like, they shouldn't care, but they do, and Apple cares about them. So Apple is already willing to bend their own rules for companies like Amazon, for, I'm sure, Netflix, I'm sure other companies. They've bent their App Store rules for Microsoft in the past. Microsoft Office should not exist in the way it does in Apple's, I believe it's the Mac ecosystem, because it's very walled and apps are restricted from doing certain things. So Word shouldn't exist. But guess what? The world runs on Word and Office. So Apple bent to Microsoft already. And it's just pissing me off that they're not allowing any kind of game streaming, because that's where things are going. People have brought up Apple Arcade and they don't want competitors. Apple Arcade's not a streaming service. You download every one of those games. It's very different. Also, if I want to play Grindstone, I'm going on my iPhone on Apple Arcade. To my knowledge, that game's not, I know it is on, actually, no, Apple, do they have Grind? They do have some games like Shantae and that kind of stuff that are on, Xbox or Apple Arcade, whatever. But for the most part, if I want to play Gears, I'm going to Game Pass. If I want to play Grindstone, I'm going to Apple Arcade. It's not like I'm going to cancel one to get the other. Yes, they're maybe competing for my time, but so is every other thing that exists in the world. I'm just as likely to go play with my drone or watch something on Netflix than I am to choose a Game Pass game over an Apple Arcade game. So none of the arguments I've heard in Apple's favor make any sense to me. It's driving me crazy. No, I'm not going to switch to Android anytime soon. I just bought a big, new, expensive iPad Pro. I have a phone that work pays for, and I'm definitely not going to ask them to trade in and get me an Android anytime soon. Would I consider Black Friday maybe picking up an Android tablet if they go on for cheap and I can play Game Pass Ultimate streaming stuff? Maybe. We'll see. But I really hope before then Apple starts to maybe bend, or Microsoft figures out a way to cheat the system, or someone figures out something, because this is not great. And with Apple in the middle of an antitrust lawsuit right now, it really does not look good on them. And everyone's writing about Business Insider, Variety, like every news thing is including Apple News is full, which is ironic, is full of places writing about how shitty this is. So it's just like, I don't know, man, for me, it's, if I was Apple, I'd say, you know what? yeah, let's maybe open things up, and just let this happen, because this is one of those things that eventually it will say, people will look at it and say, look, they're not playing nice. It's the Xbox One launch again. It's coming up, like, when companies don't play nice, they can be in as big of a lead as they want, but consumers will start to say, like, this is anti-consumer. This is not playing fair. This is not what I want. Is there another ship I can jump to? And yeah, I mean, for people that aren't as into the ecosystem as I am, maybe that's going to be a really easy jump. For people who are ingrained in the ecosystem like I am, I've never really thought seriously about Android tablets. And for the first time ever, I looked them up on Best Buy and Amazon, two places, two different searches to price out Amazon tablets or Android tablets. So yeah, bad news for Apple, I think, if this persists.
Yeah, and if Microsoft is the other 1,000-pound gorilla, I mean,
oh, yeah.
You've got Google, there's not many that can take on Apple, and Microsoft definitely can. They are equivalencies. The funny part I find about this is Google Stadia is on Android.
Yep.
Who is probably their biggest competitor for gaming right now? xCloud.
Yeah.
Android doesn't say you can't be on our device. No, they're welcoming it. Samsung just had a big event saying, hey, you bought the Note 10, you get this. And they're going all in on Windows integration. So I would worry about, Android is the biggest platform. It's outpacing iOS. It's bigger in other countries. I would worry about Apple being restrictive. Obviously, they want to protect their grounds in their marketplace. I get that, but it's a challenge. You see that marketplace having a platform. You see that right now. HBO Max, Peacock, NBC Peacock. They can't get on Roku and Fire devices because there's a cost barrier to get your app on their platform. So I don't know where this is going to go, but I've gone back and forth from Android and Apple. I quite honestly, I don't think there's that much different from the platforms anymore. Back in the day when I got my first Android phone, it sucked. I get that. But now I feel like they're so similar, there's not that barrier of entry. So it's much easier for people to go back and forth. They even have apps to transfer your stuff. So I had worse trouble with my iPhone SE. My contacts were totally screwed up. They were on Google perfectly. They came over, and I'm like, guys, I need all your information. So, but I'm kind of screwed now because I have an iPad that I got like a year and a half ago. I've got an iPhone. I'm out of xCloud, where before I had my Samsung, I could do it, and it was perfectly fine. I've got an old Android tablet that's really old. I don't know if that'll work, but I've heard you can potentially get an Android Fire tablet and sideload xCloud.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was reading up about.
Those things are like $80 or $100.
Yep.
So, yeah,
$110 Canadian, I believe. Like I said, I did start looking things up.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I don't know where this is going to go, but it's a big frustrating thing as a consumer. And like I said, we've talked about the Spider-Man not being available, but this is a whole platform not being available. That's a bigger difference. So, and I have seen people like Joseph Moran say, my next phone will be a Samsung because this is anti-gamer, not so that hurts people along the way, especially this is going to be the platform. I'm just curious where Microsoft goes next. They're going to say, you know what, we're going to create a dongle you can put on your TV. We're bringing back the Microsoft Windows Phone. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? Like Microsoft said they're determined to find a way to allow iOS consumers to do this. Is it going to be a browser-based thing, or will they be willing to add a sign up for Game Pass thing on iOS, but maybe jack the subscription price up a little? So Apple can take their cut. And look, if you want to sign up on iOS, maybe you don't get the first year for $1 or whatever the hell promotion they're doing at the time. You're paying full price right from the get, but you can sign up through iOS. Anyone smart will still sign up through their Xbox or through Xbox.com or whatever. But that's an option, and Apple can take their cut if they want to. I don't know, man, but it's I personally really hope that Apple backs down on this, and or I mean, the good thing about them currently being in an antitrust lawsuit is hopefully they lose. Honestly.
Yeah.
Hopefully like they do get dinged with like, no, you guys are actually, and it doesn't look good for, if you're paying attention to what's come out, like them saying, there was one that they said they saw an ad for, I believe it was Amazon Kindle Books, like the app there. And it showed someone reading something on an iPad and then switching to another device and all their books were still there. And the email like specifically said like, no, they make it look like you can switch from an iPhone or an iPad to a Android device very easily. And we don't want that. So it's time for them to pay up or get off our platform or something like to that extent. Like it was really, really bad. So like, it looks like they're going to lose this. And I really hope they get hit with some government sanctions being like, no, open up your damn platform. Like stop being assholes. Cause that's essentially what they're doing right now is like, again, why can Netflix stream, but I can't stream a game? Why can I stream?
They're not reviewing every Netflix film.
Right. There's not a chance. And why can I stream Game of Thrones, but I can't stream Gears of War?
Yeah, absolutely.
What? And for anyone saying I control Gears of War, but I do not control the outcome of Game of Thrones, you're right on that one. But you do control the outcome of some of the interactive stuff on Netflix.
Bandersnatch.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the one.
So maybe, and there's more. They announced what we were talking about before. Dragon's Lair.
Yes,
is another interactive one, and I'm sure they're going to keep doing that. So yeah, there we go. Even streaming video services have some level of interactivity. Are Apple, is Apple vetting every single one of those outcomes? I doubt it. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But it's still incredibly frustrating. And like I said, we have a rating system. We have the ESRB. Can Apple not say like, hey, is this game good? Okay, cool. Yep. Game Pass is still allowed. Like it just, I don't know, man. It's super weird.
Yeah, and Tim Cook and many other tech execs were in front of Congress just last week. So everybody is on the hot seat right now for being monopolies, anti-consumer practices, all of these things, and we just don't want it to go to gaming. So it's kind of a weird world right now, but we want people to be able to play what they like where they want. So if you're Nintendo, you just keep putting your own device and you don't have your games anywhere else. They figured this out.
Can you imagine if Game Pass came to the Switch before iOS?
Oh my God.
That'd be wild.
We'd see Kirby die.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we went a little bit long on this one. We didn't even have a topic. So you know what?
No, I know. Yeah, we there's so much news. We had to push our topic back. So we'll discuss that another time. But we want to hear from you guys. If you're listening and you're as frustrated about xCloud or Spider-Man or excited about Fortnite comics or whatever it is, let us know how you're feeling about what's going on at either the official Co-op Mode Twitter account at co_op_mode_pod, the easiest one to remember in the world, or at Toxtra or at _Canardian. Let us know any one of those or our Facebook group, Facebook page, wherever you want, or you can even leave a voice mail message for us at 872-225-2493, 3 minutes or less. But let us know how you're feeling. We could even play it on the show. So we're still giving away. What are we giving away? Round Guard? No,
I think people
gone?
are voice shy.
Is that gone? Maybe.
Yes.
I think so. Or people like, if you're anything like me, I listen to a lot of podcasts while I'm driving. And when I'm driving, I don't often, like, I'll hear something like, tweet at us or do this or do that. And I'll be like, well, that'd be great if I could like stop and do that. But I don't want to listen to go tweet at something or dial a phone because I want to pay attention to the road. So if that's you, if you're listening right now and you're driving Sean Capri and your Xbox Drive,
Sean Nias, if you're with the sun and using voice earmuffs.
Here we go. If you're driving right now, make a little mental note. to give us a call later, 872-225-2496. We want to hear your lovely voices.
Join us again in 2 weeks. We'll be back at it. And as always, Mark, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
And folks, remember, it's always better to game together.
Hitherto unknown. You might think it sounds impossible till you've seen a caracol. Kind of bargain, kind of snack. Try to catch them in your trap. Feed somebody and you'll see we are whatever we eat. Find them hiding in the sand, tearing up a ketchup patch. Come to snack to Thailand and discover it's bug snacks. So grab a journal, listen up, and make some new friends to solve the mystery.
An expedition, 13 strong of grumpuses, who all set off, seeking out a better life on Snaktooth Island. They did find a tasty quest to fill the hole that many feel inside their soul. Venture deep to reach the truth, and maybe you'll learn something too.
You might think it sounds impossible till you've seen a sandwich climb a wall.